Good morning. Morning of 9th day. I'm here at Blyton Landing. It's gonna be another hot one. That's okay. I kind of know how to deal with it now. I mean, these big banks, like I did yesterday during the 3 to 5 o'clock, the hottest part, I can hug that bank and stay in the shade. And I got a new fishing pole. The guy in camp gave me his favorite bass pole. Not to mention bait. So I guarantee I'll be eating bass tonight. Yeah, I better. I mean, I'm in the best bass country. Come on, people. You guys, I should be catching bass. I have been catching bass, but everything I've caught, about a little under like a half a pound bass. So I want one that fills my frying pan, and that's it. Show you, I'm drinking lots of Gatorade now. And my daughter gave me this. Here you go. And I'm mixing that into my water too. And it gives you energy, it gives me strength. I mean, even though I'm not eating like the calories I'm putting out, I'm not replacing them. But this helps. It's giving me some nutrients. So I'm gonna break camp as quick as I can. It's almost 8 o'clock. Just getting water. I can't believe I'm anxious to get in the water, but I am. I'm ready to go again. Well, I'm ready to go. And looks what, I don't know if see the clouds? That's good news to me, I suppose. There's not a stitch of wind, which is good because if there was, it'd probably be going in the wrong direction. So here's the plan today. Put this camera down here. I'm coming up to my first dam. Lower Monumental. My son is going to meet me this evening there to help me around it. And bring me a few more supplies because I couldn't text him everything from the last drop because I didn't have cell phone coverage. And right now I don't have cell phone coverage again, so hopefully I will by the time I get there, but I'm not really counting on it. But he knows where to find me. I'm gonna, well, let's see. I did the map after I talked to you last night in that dark video while I was eating. I did the rest of the mileage calculating as best as I could. And I'm looking at about 110 miles. So I did 147. So the whole trip, according to my calculations so far, is not 300 like I intended, but I didn't really know. So I'm over halfway there. But this part is going to be the worst. I mean, I got the heat and I got the lakes. So let's go get her. I'm going to play another song, a little Fleetwood Mac. I've always been a huge fan of them. So I'm a little slower to get going today. I don't want to burn myself out again, I got blisters on my arms from the sun. Oh well, I'll survive. Well, I've been on the water for like 40 minutes. Made some progress, but it's pretty peaceful out here. Like yesterday in the morning being a weekday compared to Saturday when I hit the Snake, everybody was out there with boats and beach combers and families, and it was nice having that company, I suppose, because I talked to quite a few of them as they went by. They were curious. Look at this crazy guy. What would you think if you see me going down the river and you didn't know what's going on? So I don't think I've shared this with you. Those 2 days that I was at that camp trying to get my batteries charged, and I couldn't record anything. And that gets to you. Just like I watched a lot of Survivor, man, and Cody Lundin, but Les Stroud, he films his own stuff, And he's mentioned before, talking to a camera is almost like having your own Wilson, you know, to speak your mind, I guess. I don't know, but it gives you a psychological edge. But if you don't mind, for now, you're my Wilson. Yeah, if you happen to see the stills that I took a picture of earlier of the surface of the water, it looked like glass. Well, it's over with for now. A little breeze that's blowing me the wrong way, obviously. It doesn't take much. It's like maybe 2-3 mile an hour wind, but it affects me big time in this thing. So I got a place in the shade and I lassoed a rock, and I got a bunch of swallows here. I don't know if you can see them there, and they got nests in these things here. They don't like me here, but it's okay. I'm trying to stay cool. You see I got my umbrella up and trying to keep a towel on my shoulders. And see this white stuff I mentioned in the videos before? I mean, this white line of rock that comes down, you can see it for miles and miles on that side of the river. This side of the river, obviously, and the railroad bed. But before that was there, I imagine it was pretty much like this. But this riverbed was obviously had to be a lot lower because this is a lake now. But I'm going to take a respite, and I'm about a third of the way for what I needed to do today to get to the top of the Lower Monumental. And hopefully the wind will just be temporary, and I can wait till it cools down a little bit more, and I can burn it on in like I did last night. That felt good at 7 o'clock. I mean, I didn't mind rowing hard then, but out in this stuff, it'll kill you. I am running low on battery. My solar chargers are working good, but it's going to take like 2 days in the sun to fully charge one of those up that way. But I'm limping along. I hope this don't run out. This strawberry and a wild rose with some grass. I mean, I just want, my point here is, look where this is. I'm going to try to back up a little bit without, I haven't looked at my map to see what it's called yet, but I got my little, where's it at? Wind up radio to work, and I got the weather, and not good news. I think I'm probably about halfway there. It's probably about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, which time-wise, I'm not worried, but they said it's going to get up to 20 mile an hour, and no matter which direction that comes from, I can't be on the water in that kind of wind. So, and what's worrying me is I don't make it to my checkpoint tonight. My kids will be very worried. And you know what? That is the last thing I want. So I am gonna push as hard as I can against an increasing wind. That was 2 miles an hour, I think, on the last video I showed you. It's probably more like to 5, so it's slowly picking up. So I need to quickly pick it up. I'm trying to keep this battery charged as we go, and so far so good. It died on me on that last little bit. Let me say my point, because it died before my point. My point is, life really only needs a chance. Just like those plants growing out of the rock and a little bit of dirt. One of them is going to grow into a big tree, probably. Yeah, look at this. I thought this was a log floating. It's a floating dock that somebody put out here in the middle, literally, I'm talking in the middle of nowhere. But it's awesome for me right now. I'm tied off to it, kind of getting a break from the wind. But I wanted to show you something. I know I just showed you those, but I would cut across here to make that point. You know, not go in this corner. but there's no way I can do that in this wind, so I'm gonna have to go the long way. It just keeps getting worse and worse. Okay, as you can see, I made it, my son made it, and all is well. It was definitely the most grueling day ever, and it wasn't the heat, it was the wind. I only went 10 miles, yeah, I know, but it was the worst day ever. I was tired from the last couple days, and I was counting on an easy day, and I did not get that. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get some fishing in. I still didn't have time to fish again today. I have something, everything ended with a rainbow today though, because at one point I had to get out and pull the boat because the wind was so bad. So here I am walking the bank, pulling the boat, and I found something. Is this any relation to you guys? I have my own Wilson, but don't get jealous. I'm not gonna talk to it like I talk to you. So I'm gonna let Jake get going, and he's had a 2.5 hour drive to get here, and he needs to get back. So tomorrow I'll talk to you again. If in case I have something to share with you tonight in camp, I'll let these batteries rest. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me good. I got the music going. I'm trying to unwind a little bit, which has become a problem each night, the last few nights with all this rowing, but I'm still having feet problems, of course, because I'm aqua socks or neoprene socks that I have on, and aqua shoes, little light shoes. But regardless, my feet are soaked still like they were with the waders, so you finally get to see it. There's no trick. The only trick is don't burn your feet. Get it in the smoke as much as you can. I'm only talented enough to do one leg at a time. Spread your toes, let that get in there. Survivor Man taught me this, or Cody Landing. Like I said, I can't remember. They probably both did it. I gotta save the battery for tomorrow. I thought I'd just give you that little thing I promised you, kinda.
Good morning again. I just woke up. I stayed in bed a little longer than I have been. Like I said last night, I don't know if it's adrenaline or what, but a combination of that and sleeping on the hard ground after rowing my ass off all day is becoming a problem. But I can sleep when I'm done. It's about 8 o'clock. Sun hasn't quite, it's just now starting to come over the trees there. What a racetrack, huh? I hope it stays that way. I'm gonna wake up and get packed up.
Well, unfortunately, this is about 30 minutes later from that last video. This boat, wind, and the way I got it packed, it's not aerodynamic. And when you're going into the wind and you're pushing more air force along with more water force, I tell you where you feel it, and that's in the oars. That water on each oar becomes quite a bit heavier. But here's another thing. As far I wanted to make it across there before the wind started. That's, as far as you can see there, that's halfway for me today. That's 5 miles. The way this is looking, I'm probably not. Okay. Well, I knew this would eventually happen. Yesterday was a good start to this. I no longer call this a river. Obviously, I shouldn't have been calling it for a while. It's a lake, and parts of it are wider and wider, and it acts like a lake. Obviously, I don't know. Let me point the camera. It's gotten worse. So, I still have to go. Can't sit in camp and get across 100 miles, and that's what I got in front of me. I got something to show you here, though, for days like this. About a month ago, before I started this trip, I bought this in a secondhand store in Elgin for like $2, but I don't know why I bought it then. I mean, I didn't know why I was buying it because I didn't know I was doing this trip then. But I do now. I'll show you. It's like a Pioneer guy. I made it into a belt buckle. Anyway, it's like a Pioneer guy, and it says, "The will to achieve." Just like Lewis and Clark and the Discovery Team and pioneers that came after them. They had to have that will to achieve to accomplish such a daunting task. Well, I can't do this without that same will. So this morning I'm going to start you off with, well, what I consider to be the theme song for my trip, in a little different type of launch today. So let me get you, I got the rope all rigged up, and we'll get going. I'm going to turn this off and start you up again here. Well, I'm on the boat rowing now. The bank was getting, well, kind of tough, but as long as I stay against this side and keep making progress. Look at this. Where's it at? You can't see it with the sun. It looks like Indian hieroglyphs, but it's actually bird poop. Just wanted to share that with you. Give you an idea of how fast I'm going, I suppose. Hopefully you can see through there. It's not blowing hard where I'm at, but the swells are still coming in off the middle of the river, and they're about 2 foot high. Nice little rollers, nothing breaking. In the middle of the river, it's whitecaps. I think it's kind of settling down though, a little. Hopefully. Not doing too bad right now, actually. Well, you get the idea, huh? I pulled in here to this little shady spot for a second. It's gonna drink me a yoo-hoo. And this barge was coming by. Right when I made it to this point that I was shooting for. Now I can see around the other side a little bit, but that means there's more wind coming. A little sheltered here, but it's not going to make much difference. I'm not going out there. Those swell. She's displacing quite a bit of water, and I don't know. I don't know if it'd make a difference, but I don't have the energy to play today. So I'm going to take a little rest here and hit it again. So on the last video, I was just on the other side of that point taking my little rest, and I come around that point and the wind, it doesn't look very visible now, but on my boat when I didn't row, I went backwards and out towards the middle of the river pretty fast. So I'm going to get back on shore. It's a good shore to walk here, so I'm going to be towing the boat for a while. Yeah, like I said, this good shore goes on for a while, so I'm moving pretty good this way. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Seahawk shoes off and put my camp boots on so I can travel on this rock better. Well, down there it turns to more sand and stuff, so to keep my camp boots dry, I'm changing again. But a minute ago I mentioned something about the Seahawks. That reminded me about my other secret weapon. I know you guys probably had your fill of geese and baby geese, but they are all over this river from the Grand Ronde, clear up the top of the Grand Ronde where I started, all the way down. There's families of geese. It's pretty cool. Okay, another, I don't know if you see me over this, but you just need to hear me. There's a difference of rowing into a headwind. Usually when you're rowing, you get a good cadence going, and on your downstroke, you bob your head and that little bow just gives a little bump forward and your inertia continues. When you're rowing into the wind, you lose all that. So you basically have to earn every stinking inch. But I'm still not making progress like I normally do, I guarantee it. But I'm going. Maybe a couple miles so far today, and I haven't looked at the time, but it's been like 3 hours, and that's way off my thing. So, do what I can.